Oh, the vibrato's good.
Yeah, the vibratos. We can...
Let's do vibrato wars then, and not
Okay,
even
vibrato
bend
wars,
wars.
yeah, pick a note.
I'm just going to go the G again.
Okay.
I honestly think this is like a new instrument. If you've played piano for 20 years,
it's
I don't
wild.
think you should just assume, oh yeah, I'll get this down. This is like, you need to learn this again as like another...
100%. And the two-handed thing is what's really crazy, because we've never had that before. I could go, I could do it on here. That's just normal piano playing, but to be like... Whilst that's straight.
Oh, you were doing the bend on that?
Yeah. The half semitone is killing me.
Is it? But I don't know how you could get over that, because you could set this to only be semitones.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, so
then you've got to literally, if you want to do you've got no option other than to skip to the next note.
Yeah,
have
so
you?
if I was on.
Woo! Gospel version. Hallelujah!
Golly. Traded.
Brother, welcome back to Andertons TV.
Oh, you get to do it for me.
I know.
Hello, welcome to Andertons TV, and we're on the Synth channel, believe it or not.
Are we?
We are
So I
indeed.
get paid extra for that.
when we get to 200,000 subscribers, we're going to give away
Yes.
free keyboards,
Are
and
we?
I've heard that the boss will give us running water. Hello! We've got Oz in the room with us as well. And this is the Osmose by Expressive E.
Cool, that's tough to say, isn't it?
It is.
The Osmose by Expressive E. If you had a lisp, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? The Osmose by Expressive E.
Yeah, tech support have had a lot of trouble.
I heard you playing this keyboard in a video, watching you on the tech channel, and it reminded me of a video that was shot by accident in the store on somebody's phone about 5 years ago, maybe even more than that, where one of our guitar salespeople, the lovely Paul Sandercock, who some of you may know if you shop in our guitar gallery, was trading licks with a crazy player. Was he Italian or something like that?
Yeah,
crazy
he's got the hair.
player.
He's got to be Italian.
That had, what was that rubberized keyboard?
It was called the Rolly Seaboard. I think we should roll VT on it.
Yes! Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing. Rolly, I think they're in a little bit of a...
Transition?
The transition. They're regrouping.
Ooh.
After that, they did a lot of development, a lot of investment. I'm not going to comment on that side, but in that, whilst they're regrouping, it seems like in France, Expressive E...
Who's clever Frenchman.
Yeah, they had this amazing product called the Touche.
Yes!
Yeah, right.
Oh.
I love it, the world of synths to Lee. And it was this wibbly wobbly...
I want a signature one. I want it the Mange 2.
The Mange 2. It was essentially one of these keys, but a big dobby one. And you could attach that to your synth and it would give you this functionality, which I think you can feel for yourself, perhaps, and tell people what you think of how this feels. Do you want to have a touch of it?
Well, so I guess...
Because you're used to pianos, you've come on, like, but this is weird.
The conversation Jack and I have had many times is Jack has guitar envy of the fact that I can play a note and I can go... or...
That's the envy. It's the bend and then the vibrato.
Yeah.
But I could do that.
A little bit with a pitch wheel, but it's
pitch,
never...
I'd go pitch and then mod. But what we were doing in the intro was something, other than just playing erroneous notes, was something we could never do. Because each note has its individual pitch bend and vibrato, it meant that I could pin a chord and then wibble that without that wobbling.
I see. So, of course, if you had the old pitch wheel, it would do your left-hand notes
Everything.
as well as the right-hand notes, which would sound wrong, right?
Exactly. And it was a whole style like neo-soul bending into chords, or we'd have to build up layers. But when I was accompanying us, that was not possible before.
So you've got two levels. You've got downwards pressure that creates an effect.
Yeah.
And you've got left and right.
Yeah, and you've also got tap.
So cool.
Because I could be, which is different to... That's where, like, the softness, and also when we were playing, I could press into it, and I could, you probably heard some notes bending out, I could bend maybe just that one.
But from a technique perspective, if you're used to playing a piano and your left hand can literally, you can have, you know, whatever it is, 3 or 4 millimeters of side wave movement on your left hand and it doesn't change the sound at all. So you're not even probably conscious that your left hand's moving. Then as soon as you're playing this, any sense that that sort of lateral left and right, I can't remember, but that sort of lateral movement is like the keyboard's going, oh, you want some different notes there, do you? You're like, no, I don't, hang on, I don't want any different notes down here. I just want
I want the bumpers up. I'm bowling. I want the bumpers up. And that's one of the things that it was great. We just had plugged in and had to play. There'll probably be some outtakes of me just freak like, oh my days. Because Lee's like, can't you do that? I'm like, well, yes, now I can, but I can't.
Well, one of the well, not limitations, but one of the default presets of this or settings of this is to say, do you want the maximum bend to be a semitone or a tone?
Yeah.
And obviously on a guitar, there's no limit other than how far can you bend the note.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, so you're Do it. Put it in. Have you got like a semitone? Because actually, the semitone mode was quite limiting, wasn't it? So what we've said it was the full tone mode, but you're just trying to go. It's really much easier on here to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
Yeah, you're right. And just this shows you what's amazing being here at Andertons is that we can be completely forthcoming with the products, and you don't ever say, oh, you know, patch it up and put makeup on it.
Yeah.
One of the things in the other videos I was trying to do was to show people there were these beautifully manicured videos where guys were nailing it.
Right.
And it was a bit of like, hey, buy this is great fun, but there is going to be a learning curve. And that exactly
That's what I think I've said.
But it came with just a semitone, so it was like bowling with the bumpers up. But when you said, oh, I want to do a Stevie lick, and I went, I had to turn it up to two semitone bends. So let's go from, we're playing in the key of D minor, right? So say I want to go from the 7 to D. So actually we'll go from F to G. It comes as a semitone. So I could have only got to F sharp. Let me demonstrate awfully. That's me pressing as far right, and that's how the keyboard comes as standard. I went into the settings, I changed it to a tone which allows me to go. And it feels great because I can vibrato. Which is wild, and that chord staying there. So he gives an E to F. Watch me fail.
It's not a fail.
It's something to master.
Can you imagine in 5 years' time or 10 years' time where there's a new generation of keyboard players that only learnt to play on this?
100%.
How expressive they're going to be.
100%.
Because there's no sense of there's no bad habits of going like they're going to be killing it on stuff like this.
And they might even a bit like playing games, speed running games. I'm looking at Oz because he's young, but like they might even crank up to a bigger span of sensitivity and be able to nail those things. Like you,
half of me feels
that took
like
you years to get that down.
Half of me feels like, you know what the next level of this is? They'll make the keys slightly narrower, so there's a bit of a gap between each one, and then it'll be like, because you won't get that kind of
almost like a sight.
So you won't get that I've kind of hit.
I mean, you can change the sensitivity, and just for people who maybe not seen that, I was interested that. Let's go like high sensitivity. Actually makes it a bit easier, but then my left hand, that sensitivity, I'm having to be very rigid there. So it's a trade-off.
Again, it stands to reason that as updates come out for this, someone will go, right, let's have a cut point in the keyboard where it's one sensitivity here and upwards and a different sensitivity.
And that brings it, what I love in the comment section, if I've missed this, I had a bit of a Google, but the idea that if I want to do all the bends of the major scale, I'll want to sometimes bend semitone. Is there a scale mode where I could say like, I'm in D minor, and then it figured out that each time I hit it, but it did, do you know what I mean? It changed it.
What if you were playing jazz though? Because then you'd need ultimate flex, but you just need jazz mode.
Well, bendy jazz on this is just mad. I can't even imagine it. It's really well balanced though.
You're just using the sounds in here as well, aren't you? So
yeah,
I guess we didn't really find a kind of killer lead guitar tone in here. Maybe there is one. Apologies.
No, there are some effects. Again, this is probably the third time I sat at it. It's actually a nice screen. Oz did a great job, I think, getting it on the camera. If I go to the synth and then I go across here, I've got like comp and gain, so I can chang up the gain.
I think what we should do.
Oh God,
hello, can't pardon me.
So that's doing that. My bad. But you're right. There's a thing in it called the Egan matrix. So it's not using samples. Whenever you see me play before, it's either
Egan Matrix, wasn't he in Ghostbusters?
He was, yeah, and he's alive in here.
You got your positron collider or something, and you managed to get Professor Egan. You know what we should do? I'll play the chords, and you
shred out.
Pretend to be a guitar player.
Okay, let me
over the top.
Oh, thanks, mate. And these are available from Andertons, and I implore you to try it. This is the best.
Is it the only size, or do they do
Only
a big one?
size at
It's
the
only
moment.
size. I love the French. I'm a bit French, just in case you're wondering.
Are you
As well,
a bit
my
French?
grandmother was from France, and my mother lives in France. And as a guitar player, I really liked the Kernam Ridge that some other Frenchman invented last year. It's a distortion
what-
pedal.
oh, I saw that video. That
Analog
did-
morphing.
did
Yeah,
very
what is
well.
it? It's this
They're very
decade.
passionate.
It's the decade of the Frenchies taking over the
You
music
can do
world.
96 semitones. Maybe I could end it on that.
You go for it, whatever you want.
I've got an octave now. No.
Wow.
Okay, we'll do it on
cat's
there.
being
Thanks, Oz.
mutilated.
Yeah.
Copyright claim.
Pull the whole thing down.
It's very
Thank you,
cool.
mate.